Coming up on Stonation.
I just learned to be on my own. And so I am learning. I don't have to be on my own with this, even though I am in this van, but there's people you can reach out to and they care. And I'm coming back to Jeffrey Hunter and what a caring, wonderful man he is. And thank you so much to him and his whole company and community of his people there. I just think it gives me a new perspective on humanity is actually very good.
Welcome to another episode of Stonation, a production of Park Media. Before I introduce today's guest, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, share, and leave a 5-star review. And if you find this podcast useful in any way and want to pay us the ultimate compliment, head on over to our Patreon page where you can subscribe to be a classic, stealth, or beast mode subscriber. Stonation, welcome back to another episode. I'm super excited to be able to have the wonderful and talented Michelle Burtoft host this episode with Charlotte Freeman. As I mentioned in the Stonation newsletter back in November, other people than myself will be starting to host the episode. I think this is a good thing. New people bring new ideas, perspectives, and positive energy to Stonation. And after all, Stonation is about the wonderful people in the community and is made for and by the community. So if you'd like to give a shot and try hosting an episode, please do not hesitate to reach out and we'll see what we can arrange. So with that, please sit back, relax, and welcome Charlotte Freeman to the Stonation family.
Well, today it is my absolute pleasure to welcome Charlotte Freeman to the Stonation podcast. Many of you may know Charlotte as the owner of Murray Rig from the Facebook page, and I believe she also has the very exclusive privilege of being our only member who was welcomed to her new van by the CEO of Storyteller, by Jeffrey Hunter. So I definitely want to hear a little bit more about that, Charlotte. You're a resident of SoCal, so I'm looking forward to hearing more about what kind of amazing adventures you have down that way as you're cruising down Highway 101 in the PCH. And I want to ask all of our viewers to welcome Charlotte to the podcast. To find out more, you can see Charlotte on our Facebook page. Charlotte Freeman is her handle. Or if you're an Instagram person, Charlotte goes by No Name Char. So NONAMECHAR. And I also want to add an extra special thank you today, Charlotte. You are my guinea pig. You've been gracious enough to be my first guest that I am interviewing. So it may be a little bit rough, but thank you so much for the privilege of allowing me to interview you, ask all kinds of questions, and learn a little bit more about your experience into van life. All right.
Absolutely.
Well,
thanks for asking.
it's gonna be a fun one. Well, Charlotte, I think a lot of us know you from the Facebook page and really enjoy following your adventures. But tell us about what kind of a van do you have? When did you take receipt of your van? And tell us a little bit more about our new friend Murray.
Okay, I took delivery just this past April. Oh my gosh, I think it was April 28th. I delayed getting delivery by about a week because I wasn't aware it was coming in and I had made golf plans out in Palm Desert. So got it April 28th and down in the San Diego area. And so set up that appointment, drove down and took delivery.
That's fantastic. Now, which dealer did you pick yours up from?
It's La Mesa RV
Okay.
down there in that La Mesa area. And I had Chris, and I just thought he's been wonderful through this whole process.
Yeah. Tell us about this entire process. And it's always fun to hear about the interactions with our sales teams.
Okay, well, my process has been a very long one. I guess I'll start at the very beginning. I love to snow ski. That's my passion. I was tracking a storm that was coming into Mammoth Lakes, and it was going to dump some huge powder. So at the last minute, and this is got to be 4 or 5 years ago now, and I called up and called at this favorite little hotel I like to stay. They were booked the first night. They could get me in my second and third night. So then got that booked. Then I decided, okay, I'll call another little hotel there. I think it was the Travel Lodge because it was just going to be one night. and call, okay, we've got your reservation. We're going to send you a confirmation. And I'm leaving like the next day, right? So I'm waiting for the confirmation. It doesn't come. Well, I'm going anyway. I'm going. And if it falls apart, I can go back to Bishop. I have friends in Bishop. It's about a 45-minute drive on dry roads. All right, so I get up to Mammoth. And I go to this Travelodge. Maybe I shouldn't say the name, but I think that's what it was. And I, wait through a line of people. I get to the desk and they go, do you have a reservation? And I said, well, no, they said, do you have a confirmation? I said, well, they were supposed to send me one. Haven't received it yet. And he looks at me, if you don't have a confirmation, you have no reservation, and good luck getting a room in this town tonight.
Oh, no. Oh,
Like,
no.
really?
Worst nightmare.
All right. Yeah, snow's starting to fall. It's coming in. So I was like, all right, I'll go back down to Bishop. And in a snow, it's going to be an hour and a half drive in the morning. And I wanted to be at the mountain with, first tracks. All right. So on my way out of town of Mammoth Lakes, I stop at the place I like to stay, wait through a long line of people. I get up to the desk and I go, any chance you have a cancellation for tonight? Like 30 seconds before, somebody called and had canceled their room. So I grabbed it. Well, because of that, I thought, no more hotels saying you have no room. And I have friends that for years have stayed at the Mammoth Mountain campground with their Class A RV and skied. So I thought, I'm going to look into something like that. So then when I get home from that ski trip, I go to the local RV dealership and look at an RV. I am not a camper person. I've never been a camper person. I've never been an RV person. So I'm looking at what they have in the small size and find out they're called Class Bs. And the first one they had that I looked at was a Travato. And I thought it was pretty cool to look at, but it was not four season. And it's like, well, okay, things could freeze up. No air conditioning if you're not plugged in. And of course, it's all about my dog to travel with me also, and safety of the dog. So kind of looked at that, and it's like, it had like the twin bed things on. And I thought, okay, me and the dog can sleep here. The skis, the bike, the golf clubs can all go over on that bed over there. I was trying to figure it out. Bottom line is I didn't do it. And of course, that started my journey of totally researching this whole Class B RV scenario. And believe me, I think I looked at it online or went to different RV dealerships and looked at all the different products. I even wrote Winnebago at one point, I think as other people did, and said, here's what I need. And about a year later, they came out with that Revel. So I popped to the RV show. I look at that. And I thought, well, that's pretty cool. Still have to plug into air conditioning. So you have to plug into the shore power for your air conditioning. That means I'm going to have to, stay at an RV park. And then the bed has that lift bed in the back. Well, I'm 5'9". I don't want to have to be hunched over to get to my gear. I want to walk through this thing. And back then, after, I'm old and a lot of yard work, the back hurts. I don't want to be all hunched over. I want to be able to stand up. So I kind of nixed the idea of the Revel. And so I just kind of kept looking, kept thinking. I got scared away from actually maybe going forward with this because my lovely massage therapist would said, there's power failures. You can't rely on that. And kind of talked me out of pursuing going after the Class B RV.
Uh-huh.
So, of course, followed it. And after the Revel, Winnebago came out with a Bolt. I thought, I'll go look at that. So I go down to La Mesa RV in San Diego area in November of 2019, I'm told by somebody. And I look at the Bolt, kind of the same, some improvements, but still not ticking all my boxes. And I'm telling the salesman I was talking with regarding the Bolt, what I want, what I need. And he goes, oh, let me turn you over to Chris. Something just came in the back. He'll take you in the back to look at it. kaboom! It was Storyteller. I get goosebumps just with that moment. Wow! So I went back there, looked at it, and it's like, oh, this is it. It just totally.
That was the moment. uh-huh.
Said, get on. There's a Facebook group. Get on it. Follow it. You'll learn a lot of stuff. I went home and got on Facebook group, and followed it for quite a while. November of 2019 till April of 2021. And I actually put down my deposit in December of 2019 when I finally decided to go forward. When a girlfriend, the one who she and her husband have the Class A RV that they travel in and ski, and she said, "Would you or get off the pot and do something?" It's like, quit talking about it, and do it. So I did. I made that decision in December. So anyway, so back to the November 2019 and following the Facebook group, and again, I was on the Revel group too. A girlfriend of mine had bought a Revel and invited me to join that group. So information gather. I followed all the postings in the Revel, all about the Sprinter issues, and so I knew a lot of stuff. When people had issues, I could say, "Oh, here's how you fix it." So same thing with Storyteller, Sprinter stuff. Well, here's how you fix that. So I could contribute that way with some.
I feel like you have a black book already for the Revel, for the Storyteller, for the Bolt, and everything else that you're just hiding back behind. That should someone need roadside assistance, Charlotte's ready.
I have a big binder I carry. Like, what if this happens? Yeah. So that was kind of my introduction into it all. And as soon as I got on Facebook, December 2019, and said, I put my deposit down. Who reaches out? None other than Stacy Lynn. What a doll. Charlotte, you're going to be out there on your own. Here, take my number. You're going to need it. So it's nice to have that community.
So phenomenal.
Yeah, and reaching out. So, we text, we kept in contact that way. And, she would give suggestions on here. You should get this and you should get that. As we all start that buying process, as we wait for our vans to arrive. So I guess that's a pretty kind of a Cliff Notes version of my process.
Yeah. So from the time you put your deposit down, how long was it? You said November of 2019 is when you put your deposit in and you took.
I'm sorry, my deposit was, I confused that. Yeah, my deposit was December, probably around the 10th, I'm recalling, of 2020. Took delivery the end of April 2021. Okay. So
okay,
5 months.
That's not bad at all. And it's you have a Storyteller Classic, right? Is it what color is yours?
I do. I went with the Classic. Oh, okay. I got the white. Okay. Though I really, really like that's the gray. But I was asking my neighbors, because I have to park it out in my driveway, and it's going to get really dirty. It's like, okay, which one will stay looking clean the longest? And everybody said white. So I chose white.
That makes sense. Now, when you were choosing between which model do you want, you had the choice of a Stealth, but really it was what color do you want that was the bigger choice. Was that right?
It was. I really liked the look of the Stealth, and they had that selenite gray available. I think it was the darker gray.
I like that.
And then
one.
Actually that new color that came out, I can't remember the new color. It's a lighter one. A neighbor around the corner actually has a Revel in that kind of lighter blue gray. It's really pretty. I really like it. But again, what will look cleaner in my driveway? I went with white.
That's okay.
I think we had a choice. Do we have a choice of pebble gray?
Do
we have a choice of pebble gray? I don't even remember.
I think you could do white or pebble gray, and I'm with you. There's always my mom in the back of my mind that's telling me the lighter colors are going to look cleaner when you're on gravel roads. So you should always choose the lighter colors, and they're going to be cooler. So we have a pebble gray. So I absolutely understand where you're coming from.
Okay. So that was basically it.
That's phenomenal. So, when you put your deposit in and you were working with Chris down at La Mesa, how did he keep you updated in the entire buying process? Did you get kind of monthly updates? And was this, were you concerned about the supply chain issues that we're seeing, or was it pretty straightforward from your experience?
We did not have supply chain issues during the time I was waiting for mine. I think I don't recall that being an issue. It was pretty much on track. He had given me, from the time I put the deposit down over the phone, he gave me an April delivery date, and it actually came in early, to be honest with you. I thought maybe a week or two earlier than I expected.
That's a good surprise to have, though. But then of course, everything you plan for, you have to pull up by 1 or 2 weeks to do the pickup and all of that fun.
That was sorry. He said it takes a week to deliver from Birmingham to San Diego. They will want it for a week, and then we'll have my delivery. So I was waiting for he will let me know when they ship it from Birmingham. He never did that. I got the call. Okay, it's here. Come on in. What?
Surprise.
That was a surprise.
Now, that's amazing. Now, when you took delivery, how long did you end up going through the guts of the machine, kind of trying to learn, how do I operate X, Y, and Z? How long did they take to walk you through? And did you feel like you had a pretty comprehensive understanding by the time you actually signed your name on the dotted line?
Okay, so prior to the delivery, I was asking Chris, how much time should I allow for the walkthrough and the whole process? I think the walkthrough, he said, 30 minutes. And I said, oh, Chris, you don't know me. I'll be there at least an hour for the walkthrough and then whatever comes after. Because I pretty much crawl under things. These days I don't crawl on top. I kind of, the age thing, I kind of get a fear of heights. Amazing. I ski, but those chairlifts are no fun. But so it's like, I don't think I really want to get on the roof. But I crawl all around. And of course, knowing of different issues and that whole delivery checklist that's available, that was phenomenal to go through that. And so, oh my gosh, so their delivery walkthrough guy was just fantastic. He knew what to expect because, we all probably are walking in with our sheet that says, check this, check this, check this. So he covered like everything really quickly he covered everything in a short amount of time. And of course, I had questions, and I checked this and I checked that, and I checked windows and screws, and I was just looking for anything that needed fixing, and it was nothing needed fixing. And then along that note, as I'm just starting into that delivery walkthrough, here comes a salesman with a gentleman walking by, and I go, oh, that's Jeffrey Hunter. And so Jeffrey comes around to the slider and says, hi, Charlotte. And I'm like, he knows my name? What? And he goes, I just want to say hi. And when you're done with everything, I'd love to chat with you. I'll just wait for you. Okay. All right. So he's waiting and he's waiting and he's waiting. So go through the whole delivery check thing, which probably only did take 30 or 40 minutes with me shaking things around. And then you go inside, and of course you want to final up your paperwork. And then I wanted to definitely final up my RV insurance. I wasn't even going to start the engine before I had that card in hand that I'm insured. And I got all that done. I come back in to finish up a couple things. It's like, oh, I forgot to check the power steering clamp. I want to see what that looks like. And so I run by Jeffrey Hunter like for the umpteenth time. And I go out. I got to check the power steering clamp. I run out and I look at it. I come back in and I go, oh, it's already fixed. And he looks at me. He goes, we fixed that at the factory. Priceless. I thought, they just care. What good customer service. So anyway, go back in, finish up all my paperwork, and I never even test driven one of these because I'm the type that I don't want to waste their time if I'm not going to buy it. And by the time I decided I'd buy, there weren't any on the lots because of everybody was buying them.
Yes.
And so I told them, so for the next 30 minutes, you'll see me go up and down that street over there because I got to learn to drive this thing before I take the next hour plus drive home.
Uh-huh.
So got done with them and then went out and talked with Jeffrey Hunter.
Oh my goodness! So he not only is he the guardian of our storytellers, but he also gets the title of most patient man in the world. Then.
No kidding. I mean, it was like, Charlotte, I was finally sit down. He goes, well, I have about 20 minutes before I have to leave to catch my plane, right? Like, oops.
Oh my goodness.
What? Just, yeah, patient, kind, and, just kind of talked. And,
yeah, that's good. What kind of questions did you have?
I will say that if you look at what he posted on Facebook that day, what he shared with me is what he wrote on his Facebook posting. And so he was just saying how he is the one who said, Charlotte, you were here November of 2019 looking at this storyteller. So and I think I'm going to guess because of my interaction, my postings, and plus I think on this group, people say, hey, you name your rigs. What are you going to name your rig?
Uh-huh.
And so I jumped in and I said, I don't own one, but if I would own one, here's what I would name it. And I shared the story about my mom and why I named it. And I think that kind of grabbed at his heartstrings.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, my background, my story, my being maybe a little fly on the wall on all these posts, he got his attention, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like,
that's what an amazing story.
I presumed he was there for, I presumed he was there for a meeting, with La Mesa RV. And I did not find out till after I get home and get on Facebook that he came out to see me. I mean, that just gives me goosebumps. How special. Just so special.
What an amazing community. I think that speaks to the amazing community we've built, but also the connections that we all drive, right? Is we don't necessarily have the chance to meet each other in person, but through these Facebook posts or even Instagram travels, we seem to make these connections with each other on an individual basis. And now it's like it's a small, crazy family.
Yeah, it is really, it's just really sweet. And it just kind of gives me a new perspective on humanity. Look, I worked the courthouse. I worked some nasty criminal cases. I've seen the ugly side of society. And I want to say, I'm usually not that much of a talker, but this community has brought it out of me, I think. And I just find there's a lot of special people involved, especially with this group. I'm also on the Revel 4x4 group, and I still stay on there because there's a lot of good information to share. But this community with Storyteller is over the top. They really, really care. And I again, kudos to Jeffrey Hunter because I think the leadership just brings it out of people that, do your best and care for people.
Yeah. It starts from the top. Now you mentioned that you named your rig Murray, and there's a story behind that. For those of us who maybe are new or perhaps didn't follow that posting, do you mind kind of explaining how and why did Murray came to be, and is Murray a he or a she?
Oh, Murray is a she. My mother, her name is Muriel, like as Muriel cigars back in the day, and my mom has always had my back, always been my best supporter, I guess, rooting me on. And gosh, I'd have to kind of look back through how I processed this to share this story. So my mom is a World War II veteran. She joined the Navy.
Oh, wow.
She joined the Navy on a dare. Always said, don't dare me because I'll do it. And so one of her girlfriends back in the day, dared her. They joined the Navy. I just recently saw like a picture of their boot camp, whatever picture. Did my mom look like, oh my God, what did I do? But she was in the Navy. And she'd always try stuff with, snow skiing. She picked up snow skiing again in her 50s. She had skied, my mom and dad skied before having kids, and then they didn't. And so mom joined me skiing and all my skiing adventures. She could get off of work pretty easily when I could go, and she would be my ski buddy, and she'd trust me to get her down some really, what she thought were beyond her skills, ski slopes, and she would just do it. Okay, I see it. Let's go do it. So with the rig, even like a year or two before finally making the jump into getting this, my mom is now in a boarding care home for 3 years now. So I'm sitting there and I'm telling her about, yeah, I might get this thing called a Class B RV. And I was telling her all about it. And she looked at me and she says, do it. Just do it and let's go. That's my mother at that time, 94 and a half years old. And that is just that. Anyway, so bold. We'll just go out and just step into it and do it and get life done. And so I thought, in honor of her, if she can't be there physically with me, she can at least be in spirit via the name Murray for the rig.
That is such a phenomenal story. And I honestly love that it's not just what do you name your rig, but it's also what does it bring. And if yours is like ours, it's encapsulating that. It's freedom. It's the adventure ahead. It's not knowing what to expect. It's this new family. And what an amazing memory that it sounds like just do it is kind of your motto with the Murray rig, and off you go.
Well, it kind of has been with this. It's like, oh, let's go see this and let's go do that. And I haven't done that much since the time I've had it, because I don't do heat well. I don't want to go trekking out into the heat. So I was kind of waiting for the cooler weather to hit. And although I don't live far from the Southern California beaches here, Dana Point, and I finally decided, I'm going to buy the California State Park day use pass. Ooh. I'm going to start hanging out at the beach. And so I drive down there to Doheny and a couple other places and just hang out at the beach. And it was so cool. And to have my dog with me, just so usually in life, it's like, oh, I got to get home. I have to let the dog out. I have to feed the dog, whatever. I have to walk the dog. She's now with me. And so you just have a lot of freedom to trek out into new spaces.
Oh, that's so amazing. And I think that's what this whole crazy adventure has been. And no matter what kind of a van or an RV you have, it's just the freedom, especially right now. Now you spoke of your pup, and I believe, is her name Moxie?
Moxie, as in full of Moxie.
Oh my goodness! Of course, it runs in the family. So how did she take to the new RV? Did you have to make any modifications? How did Moxie enjoy her first adventures?
Moxie has always loved riding in the car, so much so that I have a Volvo wagon. So when I'm like tootling around out in the garage, she'll sit at the car door, like open the door, and she'll jump in and just lay in there for hours. She loves it. So with the rig, are you kidding me? She absolutely loves it. She just is so comfortable in it. And now she's 13 and a half years old now. So this has been a long process to get to this point. So I've probably, thankfully for me, is not that hyperactive Australian Shepherd personality that she used to be as a pup. So, and though she always rode good in the car anyway, but she is just calm. Uh-huh. Will kind of sit up or stand up and look around and then just lays there because she can lay on that groove lounge and still see out.
Yes.
And she loves going for the ride.
Yes.
And all the new smells at every place we touch on.
Now, does she rest her little snout on over the groove lounge when you have it laid flat? There's that little bitty lip right before the window. And does she lay her snout on it and just watch out as you go down the road?
Not normally. She actually looks out the slider window more, it seems. That's what I've noticed. She kind of looks out the slider window. And although if I'm out of the vehicle, yeah, she'll sit on the groove lounge and look out the little awning window out that way. I don't know if she actually rests her nose on there, but so far so good. I was concerned that it might push out those screens. I haven't done that modification like Young Hua had done to hers. So far, I haven't needed it because she's not really involved with trying to get her nose through that screen.
She's probably just happy to be out and sniffing the different smells, and whether it's on a beach or whether it's on a ski slope, and happy as can be.
Yeah, I can't wait to take her to the snow again because all dogs love snow, run around through it.
Yes,
So
yes.
it's
Well,
pretty special. It's pretty special to
your
have her.
time is coming.
It's coming. Yeah, we're getting snow early. I hope it stays.
It is, yes. And so for any of those listening, we're recording this in October, and I think it's probably going to air in perfect ski season, probably in January. So by the time everyone gets a chance to listen to this, you are going to be gliding down the slopes in your hair in the breeze, and the pup is just going to be flying through the fresh powder. So it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, I hope it's a good January.
Oh, fingers crossed. Now you mentioned something earlier that I always get questions about is how comfortable are you driving this giant van? And it's probably actually two questions. One is how comfortable is it? How confident are you? But then also as a woman and a single woman on the road, how have you had any issues with safety or concerns, or how do you go down that path, and how do you protect yourself as well as a single traveler in a van on the road?
Okay. Gosh, where to begin with that? It's actually, I was really amazed at how easy this Sprinter van with the heavy load, how easy it is to drive. It's very comfortable. I kind of like, not kind of, I like the way the seats fit me because I just can sit up big and tall. As my grandniece or great niece told me, she says, I feel like I'm in a school bus. So you're up there driving, and I love that I can put it in cruise control and stretch out my legs. It can't do that in a regular car. I could kind of turn and stretch my legs every which direction in it. And so the safety features on it are some of those beeper thingers. I'm ready to turn a lot of those off. I just did I did Highway 1 from California Highway 1 from Morro Bay up to Monterey Carmel by the Sea. And the Sprinter handled as smooth as butter going through those, as I call it, the Disneyland Autopia turns, all through that Little Sur and Big Sur area. I was really impressed with its handling. At first, of course, learning to drive it, it's like, I won't call it overwhelming. It'll make it a little nervous at first. I'm real not comfortable maybe on elevated roads and having to look over that cliff. I feel like the thing might go plop over it. I have to get over that. That's my issue.
Well, you have good fear. It's a well-founded concern because I think isn't the PCH closed still just outside of it's not Morro Bay, but about halfway down
Big
the coast.
Sur. They actually they opened it up. I thought it was going to be closed for years. They had a new design to the bridge. It's totally open the whole way.
Oh, okay.
Totally open where that got closed down. I don't know, 8-9 months ago.
All right, that was the one piece we had to skip on our last adventure. So we're heading down with the Baja group soon. So I'm gonna be driving that route then.
Oh, take that drive! It is phenomenal. And if you're gonna also go southbound, it'll be real easy to do the turnouts and get your photos. Ooh. I was going northbound on it, so I only went northbound. Then I came back 101 to head back to Morro Bay when I was done, because I was also concerned that in coastal fog, that would be not a fun road to do in the fog.
Yes. Is this your first time going down that route, or have you been up and back multiple times in your van?
Oh, that was the first time. That's actually the first time I'd been that route ever. And it's definitely the first time in the van going that route. My first time to Morro Bay in the van. My only trips since taking delivery, I went to the Sedona meetup. I had the van like 2 weeks and did that trip. Charlotte, are you a rules follower? Somebody said that night. Yes, I am. That's another story. So did Sedona. I went to Shaver Lake, but I stayed in my cousin's driveway in Shaver Lake. I've gone up to Big Bear and stayed in a friend's driveway. And I've not done the boondocking yet. And this Morro Bay trip, I stayed in my cousin's driveway because the campgrounds were full. And then I just got back a couple weeks ago from a 3.5 week back to Minneapolis, down to Dallas and back. And I followed my my massage therapist's advice, which was, first of all, I said, Charlotte, some people should not own one of these, and you're
Oh
one of
no.
them. But since you own one of these, you need to do highway, stay at a KOA. They're close to the highway, Charlotte. Get back on the highway. KOA, highway, KOA, highway. So that's what I did on my 3.5-week trip. It worked out really well. So, which brings me down. You had asked about my concerned
Yeah.
safety and
Yeah.
such.
What was your
So,
experience?
always, of course, KOAs were fine. I've had no bad experiences. I actually years ago, I took an online self-defense course, so I do know if I feel threatened, I'm going for the windpipe and you're going to be dead. I've got confidence in that. And I also, I don't like guns. I work in the courts again, and I just don't like them. So I have a non-lethal self-defense weapon, which there is one way to make it lethal if you make the right aim. And so I'm confident with that. I bought a metal children's bat. I don't know however long it is.
Yeah.
And I hang that above the slider when I make camp, like some people would hang their rifle there. I have that. I have a really loud air horn, and I have a couple tasers. That's it.
You are set and loaded for bear.
That, I'm in the hands of Jesus then, whatever happens. So
that's fantastic. It's always good to hear these stories, right? As everyone addresses it differently, and there's no right or wrong answer. It's just, what is your comfort level? But thus far, it sounds like all positive experiences, and you haven't had any issues.
Well, I haven't, but I haven't been out that much in it either. And I do keep in mind that somebody says, just start it up and drive away. Yes. And you can do that in these.
Yes.
You might leave something pulling out, but just drive away. Yeah.
That's very true. We'll be fixing the cord plug-in or something, but
later.
It's a nice piece to have. Now, what was your very first trip after you took delivery? Where did you go, and how long was it?
I did the Sedona meetup.
That was the very first. Oh my gosh, you're a bold woman.
That was the very first. I don't know if I call it bold. Maybe not too brilliant, but so I thought, okay, I'll go do that, because was it Paul Pritz that set that up? And he said, you won't need 4x4, easy drive, come on out there. Cool. All right. So I'm going to head out. And also I recall reading all over different boards, the Mercedes navigation, don't trust it. It's terrible, blah, blah, blah. All right. So I'm leave early on like a Thursday to head out there. And I'm going through Palm Springs, Palm Desert, and I was getting hungry. And I'd just been out there like a couple of weeks before that playing golf. And I knew there was a Jack in the Box on one side of the Interstate 10 that I liked a breakfast sandwich they make. So I say, hey, Mercedes, find me Jack in the Box. It didn't find me Jack in the Box. I found myself like headed towards, where do they hold the country music festival? Way southwest of where I needed to be. It's like, I'll give it 3 or 4 chances. Like, okay, I should be going this way, but it's taking me this way. And I kept going this way. And I thought, no more. So I knew I needed to go the other way. So don't trust the Mercedes navigation. It doesn't work. It was just terrible. So I get on Google Maps and put those coordinates in. I didn't know you could put coordinates in, and Google Maps will take you right to the spot. Head out there. So I'm heading out there, and it's like, I know gas is going to be cheaper, diesel, over the border, but I didn't know how far our station was. So I stop, fill up in Blythe, walk Moxie, and Google at that point said I'm like an hour and a half from my destination. Great. So I get back in, take off. Google has switched from a green hour and a half to like a red, add 2+ hours or 2.5 hours to your existing drive. I'm like, what? Oh, must be a glitch in Google. It wasn't a glitch in Google. I get up the road. I hit, I think that's Arizona North 17. Not even 5 minutes up that dead stop on the road going to Sedona on that on that route. And as I'm sitting in traffic going absolutely nowhere, I finally figure out, oh, Google, it says fires ahead, multiple accidents ahead. Add 2.5 hours to your existing hour and a half, whatever it was. Like, oh my gosh. All right. So eventually worked my way to getting near the meetup. Good grief. And so you get on that little windy road, and then Moxie's like whining at me. I gotta go potty type of whine.
Oh.
All right, next wide spot in the road, I'll turn off. So I see a wide spot, I turn off. It's a private driveway I'm in on that road. And now I'm on this driveway that's a drop off on each side. And then I thought they would not appreciate me going all the way up to make a turn around and come back. So I thought, all right, I have to learn to back up and turn this thing. I must have made 1,050-point turn to work my way to turn around in that little driveway. And then I got it, and she's still like, I gotta go. And then I opened the door, and I'm like, oh, are there snakes out there? And yeah, of course there are. Anyway, get her. I'll just go through my head, and it's like, all right, handle her, get back on the road. Then you get off to the road that takes you to the campsite area or the BLM land. And it's like real rough and all that. She decides to throw up in the back.
Oh, no.
And I stop. I look at it. It's just liquid. Okay, I'll clean it up later. Keep going. And then we get to the fork in the road. And as you go into that area, there was a fixed wooden sign on the right covered with a banner. The banner said closed. And on below it, still exposed on the wooden sign, it said no dogs. I'm like, what?
Oh, no.
You're supposed to be able to take your dogs to these things. Well, maybe I was supposed to turn left here. So I turned left. Mm-hmm. So, newbie here, very newbie. I turn left and I'm going along. And it says continue. I think the road to the site was like, call it 519. I'm on 519C. And I'm going. And pretty soon I stop, get out, take a picture, which I discover later was where I was supposed to be across all that desert. And I get back in, and it says you're now like 34 miles or 34 minutes, not 4 minutes from your destination. It's like, what? Well, how'd that happen? But it says still go forward and get to like road 19C and turn right. So,
and we trust Google, therefore we follow. Yes.
Yeah, little did I know. I turn right on, I'll call it 19C, I think it was. And it's like, nobody's out here. Oh, wait, there's somebody in a camper van. Oh, there's a tent. I must be in the right spot. Pretty soon, there were only 3 or 4 people out there. There's nobody. The road gets really narrow. And there's these big, ginormous boulders in the road. So I get out and move those out of my way. And I get back in. And the road gets more narrow. And then it starts going down. And I've got to get out and move more boulders out of the way. I didn't need 4x4. I must be in the right place, right? I go down, and now I'm at the bottom, and I don't know what that was down there. I thought, could this be a creek bed? It was a whole bunch of, I don't know what the rock is out there, granite, whatever it is. I'm now at the bottom, and straight up, where it tells me to keep going, the incline had to be like this, or maybe like that, full of these boulders, and overhanging trees, and it's like, I can't even walk up that. You think I'm going to drive this thing up that? No way. I'm looking around. I'm not backing up that road because I'll fall off. It's a drop off on the right side of that little road, and then we've got the hillside here. I can't back this thing up. I'm not any good at that. I've only had this thing 2 weeks.
And you don't want to put your first scratch on it. So I look around.
Well, I'm thinking, well, I have enough. I thought, well, will the cell phone work down here? Get a hold of Stacy or I think Paul. No, I don't want to let them know I'm in trouble just yet. I can get out of this. There's my mom and me. I can do this. And I look around and I go, I got food for a week, maybe 2 weeks. I'm good. They'll come looking for me. Or I can walk out of here. But no, I can get out of here. And I look around and it looked like it was a granite boulder pit thing. And I go, this thing can handle it. And there's a big mesquite tree over on this side and other scrub brush over on this side. So I go, let's go this way. So I go this way. Boom. And I get stuck. Totally stuck stuck.
Oh, no.
Like, what?
Oh, no.
And from this pile of boulders, there's also now a wall of these boulders. Like, oh, I think I'm stuck on that. Well, this thing's 4x4, so I go to push that 4x4 button. Now I remember reading that it's hard to get it out of 4x4 sometimes. I didn't know that it was difficult to get it into 4x4. I'm pushing it. I'm going, should there be a light that says I'm in 4x4? I'm thinking, well, I push the button. I must be in 4x4. And it won't go. It won't go. So finally I do the old, put it in reverse, put it in drive, rock it back and forth, rock it back and forth. And finally in drive, it catches. And I said, I don't care what happens to this van. I'm getting out of here. And whatever happens, I don't care. Don't stop. So I take off and I go over this wall thing. I make a turn. It scrapes against that mesquite tree. And I make the turn. It scrapes on the right side with the bushes hanging out of the hillside. And I finally get back on the road. And it's like I'm hugging because I don't want to go over that side. And it's, you know how those scrub brush all hang out? Whatever. And so I get back up there and I go, okay, I'm just going to go back to the fork in the road where it said no dogs, and it's closed. And if I can't figure out, I'm heading to a town and finding a hotel room. So I get back there and it's like, I guess I'll turn left. It says I'm only now back to 4 minutes or 4 miles, whatever it said, versus the 34 wherever I was. So I turn left. I go up there. Whoa, there's everybody. Look at this. I found you. 2 hours later.
Oh my gosh. It's the logo, right? It's the tell better stories. Well, you have a heck of a story for your first trip. You made it.
Well, because at the campground, was it that night or the next night? Somebody said, well, Charlotte, what's your story? And I share that one. So, and I'll share another part of it as I pull in there. I never been to one of these. And so I see, the van lifers were up on the Mesa there, we'll call it. And so I pull in and say, what do I do? And they say, oh, you can park, over around here. Leave this spot open for Jason. He's giving us a concert, blah, blah, blah. And then it's, oh, you can come through the back part and go over where there's 3 vans back over in the back. Okay, I'll go that way. And I go over. I see 3 vans. I go, they're awfully close together. Don't you people come out here to have some space? I have learned not when you're doing these, you get close together. You don't need a lot of space. But did I know that at that moment? No. So I decide, back over there. Oh, look at all that open space. I'll go over there. I go over there and I turn into it and I'm circling around in this open space. And it's like, there's cactus and cactus needles this long out there. Are you kidding me? And I circle it a second time going, this doesn't look good. So I pull out of there. I come back to the 3 vans. I pull in and I go, that doesn't look like a good place to camp out there. One of the guys said, well, first of all, you're not supposed to drive over the desert flora twice like you did. I go, newbie. Okay, what do I do? They said, here, we'll help you. So they got me all settled into that spot in Sedona. And I'm like, I am not leaving this spot until I'm ready to go home.
You
that was my
your
first
flag. No one is going in there.
Oh my God.
That's a good one.
Wow.
But
wow.
What I take away is not just an amazing story, but Mr. Perfect himself, Paul Pritz, actually has some room for improvement on providing directions and locations is what I'm hearing here.
No, I actually think it, somebody should have said, hey, ignore the close sign, because when I shared that story, that's when somebody in the crowd said, Charlotte, are you a rules follower? I saw that sign and I ignored it. I said, yeah, I'm a rules follower. It said closed.
Oh my goodness.
So what okay, Paul, if you're listening, maybe a little bit more detailed directions or
just a smidge.
That was it.
What a way to break in the new van, though.
Yeah, but you know what? When I got home, I was able, on my own, I worked for 3 days rubbing those scratches out, and then I borrowed my neighbor's power buffer, which I was kind of afraid to use. But for the last step, I used that. I should have used it for the first step. So all those scratches came out of stuff pretty well. Or you can, on the black vinyl, you can cover it up with the fresh and make it black again stuff.
Yeah.
It looks pretty good.
I don't know. Those trail stripes, that's a badge of honor though, right?
Yeah. They called it pin. One of friends said that's called desert pinstriping, Charlotte. Yeah, and a badge of honor. That's right. I've heard that too.
There you go.
All right,
there you go.
there's my newbie story.
Oh my gosh, what a fun adventure!
Yeah.
Well, what you just finished your PCH trip. What's next on the list? What's your bucket list got?
Well, right now I'm not going anyplace while I wait for something to arrive to get fixed.
All
right. So, yeah. Well, let me back up to okay. So coming home from Sedona. Oh my gosh. Well, that Sedona trip. I decided when I left Sedona, I went north to Flagstaff because I didn't want to come back through the Palm Springs area because traffic is horrific.
Yes.
So I thought, oh, I'll go to Flagstaff and then I'll go out to Barstow. Well, I'll make a long story shorter. I know the story's too long already, but a little shorter. That there's not many diesel stations out there on Interstate 40. I almost ran out of diesel. So, anyway, so then now I carry a couple Rotopacks just in case.
Just in case.
Yeah. All right. So, the PCH stuff. Gosh, well, I was hoping to maybe go up to the Santa Barbara area because some of the spots along the beaches there are nice, but it's on fire right now. Because coming home from there, I had to get diverted. Highway, I guess that's 101 along there. 101 was closed. We have a huge fire happening down there again.
Oh no!
So I had to go inland with a whole bunch of traffic. But I would like to. Oh my gosh! Actually, I want to go to the Tonto National Forest outside of Mesa, Phoenix. I came through that, like Heber, Arizona, on my way back from this huge trip. Most gorgeous forest I've ever been through in my life. I do want to go back there. Maybe it's a little late in the year to do that. Hard to say. But I can't wait to go. But I'm going to make a special effort to get there.
Bucket list item. It's not too far away, so you'll make it. Now, all right. So snow's coming, and I'm assuming you have boots and skis. How are you storing your arsenal for skiing? I should ask that.
Not quite sure I have figured that out yet. It's just me and the dog. So while driving, I can just lay them in the garage area. They'll poke into the galley area, like 9 inches. But depending how I load my bike, the bicycle tire sometimes imposes in there. So I just work around that. And at night, I could either step over those too, but I haven't tried it yet. Thanks for reminding me. I'll try that today. I'm going to probably keep them in a ski bag at night, and I will wedge them behind the driver's seat and the groove lounge down, and they'll sit there. Because I have the groove lounge totally set up for my dog anyway. So that's probably where I'll keep the skis at night, with stacked this way.
That's a good one. That's all right. So if you've had your van for about five months now, I think the one question I want to ask you is lessons you've learned along the way. Maybe what surprises you, and then what would you change about the van or the experience? If you maybe could say three surprises or three unexpected benefits, and then just a few. What would you change about it?
Okay, the surprises and the changes. What surprises me? The microwave cooks faster than I expected it to. Look, I am not a cook. I bought this thing also because it has a microwave. It cooks things faster than I thought it would. It's great. Surprises. I don't know if I have many surprises because I had enough research. I think I knew kind of what to expect with it. That air conditioning works really great. Maybe that's a bit of a surprise. It is so good when the Volta system works. Hello. Anyway,
hinted. Well, baby, what would you change, or what kind of advice would you have for future van owners or even our friends at Storyteller?
Well, Storyteller with their new models, I think they've listened to their customers changing things up. Well, and let's see, in the Sprinter van, having Sirius radio, that's back in it. That's kind of nice. But I've learned that I can use the Sirius app and get Sirius radio that way as I travel. Although and Spotify, but that gets along Highway 1, by the way. in California. You get a lot of spotty reception there, so be aware of that. I think I will buy one of those Garmin minis. Emergency, if you can't get cell connection, you're supposed to be able to,
Yeah.
contact
Those
somebody in the
emergency
world with one of those
locator.
Garmin minis. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I think I'm going to look into that.
Okay.
And so, gosh, the new storyteller model ticked off a couple of things I thought they should change. Just like, oh, well, they changed that. Did they change the cargo light switch to the front yet? That's in the back. Be nice to have that up on the front.
Yeah, I think that was an update in the newer one, which is super, super
Is it?
nice. I'm kind of
Okay.
jealous.
And those removable storage on the new models, that's pretty key. Although, behavior modification. No matter where I am anymore, I wake up like this now. Hello, what's up there? So, it only takes once or twice to hit your head on the air conditioner unit or on those cabinets. But, and for me, I can sleep kind of diagonally corner to corner and just fit pretty good. So I don't have too much of an issue waking up and hitting my head on stuff. Let's see. I know I probably should have pulled out a little list of stuff I had that I thought, oh, they could change this, they could change that.
Yeah, that's good though. That means the updates are actually what the customers are looking for. So fabulous.
That's what I noticed when I saw the new model and read through that. They did some good changes there, I thought.
Yeah. Any must-do mods that... Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, do they on the new one? They still have that outlet that's in front of the galley sink, and if you have something plugged in, like it's like, oh, that needs to be changed to someplace else somehow, or up on the wall or something.
Yes.
Yeah. Hello.
It cannot happen soon enough. Now, what about last question I have for you? Any mods that you've done that are must do, or what were your first mods that you made a few changes to the van?
Okay. Well, I'm not going to do the well, I say that now, but the mods people are adding on the cart off on the doors and stuff. So I don't think I'm going to be that type of a traveler. As far as a modification, I'm all about safety for the dog first. And that step rail outside, early on, somebody had posted their dog got a toenail caught in it, like ripped the toenail out. So the first thing I did is took some extra of I have fake putting green in the backyard and the fake turf around it. I took that and I zip tied that to that step rail right at the slider where she's going to go in and out.
Yes.
And or other dog. I help transport rescue dogs, so I don't want any dogs losing toenails. So that's the first thing I did. I put that grass stuff right there so she can get in and out and not catch a toenail. And then on the Groove Lounge, if you have the Groove Lounge flat or slightly flat where it hinges, there's an opening there. Your dog can get a foot caught in there and break it. So I put a pool noodle in that to fill up the gap.
That's
and then
idea.
Even in the back, even in the back in the cargo area where the bed legs go into those two notch outs. If I don't have the bed down, I've got pieces of pool noodle that I stuff in that. So if she walks back there, she won't, get a toenail caught or foot caught. So that's that. I was just looking online this morning. I'm getting a train horn. Meep meep.
Ooh.
That ridiculous. Meep meep. That ridiculous. Roadrunner horn on the Sprinter. I've had several times. Why don't people see this huge white van? And they're backing out of parking spots, practically backing into me, and I've been sitting here for like a minute trying to back out of my own spot, right? But so that, and then driving home yesterday, all the incidences because traffic was horrific and people were impatient, and some guy shot across a gore point. He's in a short little car, and I've got I usually leave an extra space, and that maybe invites people to shoot in on you, but there wasn't that much extra space, and he shoots in there, and I'm laying on my brakes. I'm putting my entire body weight into my meep, meep horn, thinking the more body weight, the louder it'll get. No, that didn't work. I am buying a train horn. I'm getting it installed, and I'm gonna I'm going to at least let them know I'm unhappy with them, cutting me off like that. So I'm going to do that. I am
That's a
going
good one.
to, oh yeah. So I think going along the mountain passes, all of us know how this thing can get kind of blown around by the winds. Plus, the weight of it, the saggy rear end. I don't like the way the van looks. It sags. So, and the way it drives. Not that I'm that experienced in it, but definitely going to go with more leaf springs in the back to lift that rear end. And I asked about it on our Facebook group, and people were saying, yeah, maybe doing a suspension upgrade to help with that stability in the winds, because it's really annoying. and you end up with white knucklers, and you end up just getting more fatigued as you fight the wind.
Yeah. Well, I like that you
suspension upgrade.
Yeah, you're driving it, but you're finding out what matters to you. And I think that's the fun part of this is, what is great as a stock vehicle, and then what's going to make the difference and move the needle to actually make your experience better.
Yeah. And back along those lines, again, I don't want to be one loading up stuff on the back. But I'm thinking, well, what if I need a ski box or something? So again, as many people have said, drive it, use it a bit, see what works for you. So along those lines, I mentioned I have roto packs. I have 2 roto packs to carry a few gallons of extra diesel to get me someplace. And of course, I have nothing on the back. Somebody had posted, I don't know if it's this group or, yeah, I think it was this group. So I bought some attachments for our ladder that I could attach roto packs on the side ladder, because I don't want diesel in my side. That stuff smells. I don't know how well the plastic roto packs would keep that from smelling like diesel inside. So on that big road trip I took, I had 2 diesel roto packs attached to my ladder, right next to Spider-Man that I have on my ladder.
I'm gonna have to steal that idea, because I think we have an adventure coming up we're gonna need some extra diesel for. So.
Yeah, and if you don't have it for the back, or you could put it on the roof too. But again, I'm not one that wants to keep going up and down the ladder to the roof. Although I might be over the fear of getting on the roof, because coming back from that 2.5-week trip, a couple nights before I was going to get home, I noticed the front of the awning was slightly out. It wasn't flush closed. And I thought, oh, gee. Usually I bought a special telescoping ladder to get on the awning side, because I wasn't going to get on the roof ever in my life. But did I bring the awning? I mean, not the awning, but the telescoping ladder, because I thought the reason I bought the telescoping ladder in the first place. So at home, I'm real concerned about somebody, getting in and around my van in the middle of the night. So I bought these cameras. I bought some solar-powered lights, motion lights, that I was going to put up really high on the van that nobody could touch and take off if they were going to mess with it. So again, I don't get on the roof, so I needed a tall ladder to get on the awning side so I could get way high and put stuff up there to shine down. So did I take the telescoping ladder with me on this trip? No, because I'm going to be staying in KOAs. Blah, blah, blah. So, awning issue. Don't have the ladder. So I pull this picnic table next to it. It's like, it's all wobbly, crickety, proud, fall apart picnic table anyway. And I'm not standing on that. And I can't reach up there anyway. So I post that night before I'm going to leave the next day about the issue. And, I have zip ties, but I don't want to get up there and hang my head over, whatever. Somebody, I wish I could remember names. Somebody said, don't be a chicken. Get up there and put some zip ties on that thing. So I fret about it all night long. And I get up, and it's 104 degrees where I was coming I was down in Mesa, Arizona at Apache Junction, KOA. And it's too hot to get on there anyway. And in the evening, it's too dark. So in the morning, it's like I wake up at 4 a.m, and they don't want you making noise till 7. So I'll wait till the sun comes up. So I'm looking at it, and I still don't want to get up there. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to drive home. It's all good. I'll make it home. I get in, I turn the rig on, and it's like something comes over me like, get up there and fix that. Turn the rig off. Turn it off. Get my zip ties. Take the roto packs off the ladder, because, of course, I got to go up the ladder. And I start crawling up. I got to step over the roto packs, those attachments. I get to the top and I just lay my body weight and I army crawl my way like up onto the roof. Okay, I'm up there. And I sit like, okay, I'm not having any panic attack. And I scooch my way over. And I get the zip ties done. And then I go back over like, oh my God, I got to get down from here. So on my belly, like, okay, no, where's the ladder? I can't find, my feet are everywhere. So I thought, I'll turn around. I'll go down face first. No. I get my legs down. It's like, oh, you idiot, don't do that. So I turn back around. If somebody had a video camera and videoed this, we would be laughing forever off of the sight of me up there. But so I turn back over on my belly and I inch my way down and like, where's the rung? And I find a rung. And then the next rung has got a Rotopax clamp right in the middle of it. So I'm like, got my toes around that. Obviously, I made my way down and made my way home. But I would not go up there and put my extra fuel up there because I don't like getting on the roof.
Yeah.
So on the ladder for me, Rotopax.
That's a priceless one, and it's we laugh because we've all been there, right? That awkward going off of the roof, going down the ladder. We've been there. Well, Charlotte, I feel like we could talk all afternoon, but we're gonna have to have a part 2. The tough question for the day, and I think you know what's coming. It's been phenomenal, but for you, what does it mean to you to be part of the Stonation community?
I think just that, well, not I think, I know it's a good sense of community and caring people, which, we know what the world's doing out there. And to be able to feel comfortable to venture out on my own and either meet up with fabulous people like yourself and others, or on your own and you can reach out, somebody's going to answer up. And at least be there listening to you to try to walk you through an issue, or at least be aware that you have an issue. And I've always been all my life a loner, an individual, because we moved so much as a child growing up because my dad was building houses all over the place. So I just learned to be on my own. And so I am learning. I don't have to be on my own with this, even though I am in this van, but there's people you can reach out to and they care. And I'm coming back to Jeffrey Hunter, and what a caring, wonderful man he is. And thank you so much to him and his whole company and community of his people there. I just think it gives me a new perspective on humanity's actually very good.
People are good. Faith redeemed. I think it's just been an amazing experience. So you hit me in the heart. That's what it's all about. Cool. All right. Well, Charlotte, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. We're definitely going to have to follow up with part 2 and see where your adventures take you. And I would like to say I'll see you on the road, but I have a feeling we'll see you on the slopes next at this rate, because winter is coming and the powder will be arriving.
That will be my next adventure, to see how I do with winter camping.
Stonation is a production of Park Media. The executive producer is Younghwa Kim. The audio engineer is
Stephen Grasso.
The marketing director is
Guillaume Golsong.
The original music and artists is done by
Jason Walsmith.
The sound designer is
Lorenzo Interiano.
And the webmaster is
Moxie.
Without any of these people, this podcast couldn't happen, so a big, huge thank you. And a big, huge thank you to you, the listener. If you like this episode, please don't forget to subscribe, share, and leave a 5-star review. This is Younghwa with Stonation, and I can't wait to share the road with you.